Well, hey there guys, and welcome back. On this week's show, the Veritas Chamfer Guide. There are some channels on YouTube that seem to have their entire existence revolving around tool reviews, and that's not me, and that's not my channel. I do have tool reviews here on the channel, but there are not a lot of them. And the reason for that is that I don't believe in doing a tool review until I have had ample chance to work with the tool for an extended period of time to really see its ins and outs. A lot of channels out there will get a brand new tool, try it out for an hour, and then write this review or produce a review show. And how can you honestly know the ins and outs or the drawbacks until you really give it a good workout? So with that being said, I don't want to portray this show as a tool review by any means. I have not had the chance to even really open this thing, let alone try it. But that's what we're going to do on today's show. I'm going to open up this Chamfer guide and we're going to install it on one of my block planes, and we're going to give it a try and see what happens. I'll give you my initial impression of it. Now, truth be told, I actually placed the order for this back on December 26th of 2019. It was supposed to be purchased with money that I got for Christmas, and you guys would have normally seen it on the 2020 What Did Kenny Get for Christmas show. However, it never showed up. In fact, I never got it until a few weeks ago here in 2022. It took over a year to get it to me. And that again is supply chain issues that Lee Valley is having, much like a lot of manufacturers or a lot of retailers are these days. So either way, enough talking. Let's get over to the bench and I'll show you what this thing is and what it looks like. So after waiting almost a year to have this sent to me, I was very excited when I got the email saying that it had been shipped. And this is what showed up in my mail. And what this is it's a guide to be able to cut proper and perfect chamfers, 45-degree chamfers, using your block plane. Now, whether that be a regular block plane or whether that be a low-angle block plane, it doesn't matter. But it is designed to be used in conjunction with these Veritas planes that I have. So for me, it's a perfect addition, provided that it works. I'm one of these guys that, although I love using my block plane and I love what they do for me, I always struggle with getting that perfect chamfer. It's always a little off, or it doesn't match up quite right around the corners. It's always been a struggle, and I'm hoping that this is going to take that away. So let's see what's inside this box that I waited over a year for. So we've got our little manual here of what to do with it, and we have our chamfer guide, just like that. And we have, okay, looks like some shims. All right, so we will place this down, and let's start off by installing this thing on one of our planes. Well, this chamfer guide is made out of aluminum, it feels like, which is just fine. And it can cut or guide anywhere from 0 to a 1/2 inch wide chamfer. And it is adjusted by loosening these two screws, and then this guide strip here slides back and forth in order to be able to adjust for the width of your chamfer. Now there are extruded lines on the inside of the guide here all the way across to be able to help you to align this adjustable chamfer guide and get it parallel with the other one. So the first thing you need to do, according to the directions anyway, is to loosen off these two slot screws here, which hold that guide in place, and adjust by sliding it in and out, adjust for the amount of chamfer that you would like using those lines to get it parallel. And once you're happy with that setting, then tighten it down. All right, truth be told, that was kind of finicky to use those lines there to get this parallel with this side. I actually ended up using a small 2-inch square against the side of our chamfer guide, aligned it up that way, and then tightened it down with the square still in place. It was a lot quicker and a lot easier. So the next step that we want to do is we need to remove the front knob and the toe piece in our block plane. So we'll just remove that and our toe piece. Now for this, I'm going to be using my standard angle block plane, but as I said earlier, this works with the low angle block plane as well. Now at this point, you want to take your chamfer guide, and that will get installed right in here where your toe plate normally would be. So we will just place that in here, and then using our thumb screw, or our front knob rather, we can attach our chamfer guide in place. Just like that. Now, in order to set your mouth opening here of your block plane, similar to the purpose of what your plate is, you just loosen that knob and you can slide this guide back and forth. So we're just going to set it there for just a little bit of a gap, just like that, and we'll tighten it down. And that is our chamfer guide installed. Well, before we can use it, we need to get it so that this chamfer guide is flush with the sole of our block plane. And right now I can feel it. It is actually below the level. So our sole is proud, and that is what these shims are for. So you will loosen off your knob here, and we can install our shims in order to bring this up flush with the sole of our block plane. You know what, I like the largest shim the best. That seems at this point to give a nice flush mounting. So at this point, you'll set your blade for the desired depth of cut, and what you want to do, again, I'm no expert, but you place one of your guides here, one of your shoulders, on your stock and hold it in place. And then we run our plane along the length of the board. And you will continue to do this until both of our guide surfaces here, both of them are touching on our stock, the one on the top and the one on the side. And at this point, it won't allow me to plane anymore because both surfaces have touched on the edges of the board, and it won't allow the depth of cut to go any further. So let's just have a look at this. Well, I don't know if this shows very well on camera or not, but that is got to be one of the most perfectly hand-planed chamfers I think I have ever seen. It's very clean, it's extremely even, it's even and crisp all the way along the top, it's even and crisp all the way along the side. It's beautiful. I'm quite pleased with that. And honestly, I'm kind of shocked because I've always struggled with being able to get a chamfer. And the setup was fairly easy. Now, I think what I'd like to do, just as a demonstration, a little bit of a test, this is meant the regular angled block plane. This would be more for along the long grain here, whereas this low angled block plane is better suited for the cross grains. So I think what I'd like to do is use the chamfer guide. I want to place that 45 chamfer all the way across here, and then I want to set it up in the low angle block plane, and we're going to chamfer these ends here and just see how we make up, see how the repeatability is here. So let's do the end grain first. And there we go, our chamfer guide has bottomed out on both planes here, and it won't allow us to plane anymore. So let's get this onto the bench and look at the overall results. Wow, I honestly have to say it's perfect. It is perfect all the way around. The corners are crisp and go right down to the end. These chamfers here, the top lines of the chamfer, are nice and crisp and they meet up perfectly at all four corners. I have a little bit of tear out right here on the end grain. That has absolutely nothing to do with the chamfer guide. That could be planing technique. It could be that my blade is a little dull. There's all kinds of things. It could be taking too much of a bite off the end grain instead of trying to shave it. There's all kinds of reasons that could have happened, but it is not because I'm using a chamfer guide. Guys, I have to say I'm pretty impressed. This is pretty impressive. For a first try and a first shot, for someone who has struggled to get chamfers like this with a hand plane for many, many years, guys, I gotta tell you, first try, I'm truly impressed. Wow. And there you have it. The Veritas chamfer guide for the Veritas block plane. Guys, I want to point out that as far as I understand it, this chamfer guide is not compatible with your average block plane. This is designed and made specifically for the Veritas block planes, both the regular and the low angle. From what I can see from my first impressions, it's going to be one heck of an awesome addition. Now, I did not see anywhere in the manual, which is a one-page printout, I did not see anywhere where it tells you how to adjust for the width or size of chamfer that you want. So what I've done is I measured the distance between the 245 guides, and that turned out to be 3/8 of an inch. And then I measured what it actually planed, and sure enough, it was 3/8 of an inch. Now, I could have adjusted that a little more, maybe got it a little bit wider or fine-tuned it if I want to drop my blade a little lower or if I want to raise it up a little bit. So if you do a test cut and it's, you've got it set, but it's not quite 3/8 and you want it just that little bit more, tweak your blade a little deeper. Take a little deeper of a pass and it'll give you your 3/8. So you can fine tune it by using the depth of your blade. I wish it would have told us though how to set that up. Now, those machined lines, those grooves that are in the bottom, while it's a good concept to give you a good basis point of where to line things up, it is not foolproof. And I found that depending on what angle I was holding that chamfer guide on, I could get different results. Although it would look like it was lined up, if I shifted it a little bit, oh crap, that's not lined up at all. And so it's better for me anyway to use a square to line it up and tighten it down. And I got great results with it, so I'm pleased with that. I don't know what to say about it, guys. This thing retails in Canada for $32.50. That's Canadian funds. So, I mean, it took me a year, just over a year, to get it due to supply chain issues. I don't know what their supply is like now. maybe they fixed that problem. But what I do know is that my first impression with the results that I got on this board, both on the end grain and the long grain, and as perfect as that chamfer is, good gosh, guys, it was worth the year wait, and it was worth my $32.50. Guys, this is a little different show than I normally put out. I don't like unboxings. I don't like, hey, look what I've got. But I've waited so long for this product, and I was so excited to get it that I wanted to share it with you because you may not be aware that it's out there. I bought it on a whim because I was having problems with the chamfers, and I saw it as a possible solution to correcting that. And first impressions, I think I have that problem corrected. So guys, this may be something that you may want to consider purchasing for yourself, and I will put the link down below so that you can follow up on that. If you haven't already, please consider liking and subscribing to the channel. You click that bell, then you won't miss the notifications of future episodes of the show. Why not shoot over to the website at acutabovewoodworkings.com. See what there is to offer over there. There's woodworking articles, there's free patterns, there's a gallery of viewer work as well as my own. So guys, if you want to check it out, head over to the website, drop me a message. You know, I'd love to have a conversation with you. I want to thank you so much for tuning in this week. I hope you've enjoyed the content I've brought to you. Once again, I said it's something a little different than what I would normally put out here on a Tuesday, but I hope you've enjoyed the content. I hope you found it useful, and more importantly, guys, I honestly hope you're going to join me again next week when I bring you yet another Alternative Tuesdays.